Drew and Fuse Show, the Drew and Fuse Show, the Drew and Fuse Show. They clean up nicely. It's the Drew and Fuse Show, the Drew and Fuse Show, the Drew and Fuse Show. Yeah, they clean up nicely. Yeah.
All right, we are here at Midwest Live. We are doing our first ever Drew and Fuse Show live. We are here with our special guest, Eric Rhodes. He's been on the podcast before, and we're back. And today, Drew, tell us what we're going to talk about.
Okay, so Fuse, I think, has a counter on how many times I say that my parents owned a video store growing up. So we had Eric did this really cool promo video that I just happened to notice. I thought it was just out of the box and dope. He went to the last ever Blockbuster and he filmed just like a cool promo video, and we'll get into like more in depth about it. But this is what struck my nerve is I was, Blockbuster for me growing up was kind of the bane of my existence because it's when my parents lost their video store, but it's still nostalgic for everyone else, and I understand that. But I personally love just soundtracks and videos. When my parents owned this video store, we used to get free soundtracks. Like the promo shit that we would get, like no one's gonna remember this movie, it was terrible, but there's a movie Ishtar, and there was the free hats that we had, and they had mud flaps on the back, so you didn't get your they were like, it was like a built-in hat mullet. And when we got those, we used to wear the shit out of those fucking dumb hats. And then the cocktail tape we had. So just all these like soundtracks that like kind of run that era of my life, and it was inspiring to me. So yeah, you're on to talk about that.
Cool. Love it. Yeah. It was a fun project.
Yeah. Well, let's ask real questions, but I want to give you props, one, for being unique and coming up with this kind of idea, right? Because I feel like we just need more out of the box thinking, and your target market kind of would resonate with that, right? So you somehow came up with this idea. Let's start from the beginning. How did this even come about? Like, what was your thought process on this?
Sure. Yeah. So a lot of the videos I've done in the last couple of years have been the 10 songs from 1982, or they have these themes, and a lot of the people that follow me are in their 40s and 50s.
Right.
And so they love those videos. And as I was starting to come up with new ideas, because you can only do so many from the 80s and 90s, I started to notice a lot of soundtrack songs coming in. I thought, that'd be kind of cool to do 10 soundtrack songs from the 80s. And I don't know when the idea popped in my head, but I had visited the Bend last Blockbuster on Earth with my family. We were taking an Oregon Coast trip. You drive through Bend. And we visited, and I was
where is it specifically?
It's a couple hours. I want to say like southeast of Portland.
Okay.
So it's just a smaller town. It's a super hip town, cool place to hang out.
I got an off-story story about Bend, Oregon. As I flipped a car and almost died in that Bend, Oregon. So I spent way too much time in that city.
Bro, I almost killed my family in Oregon. The wheel on my Tahoe as we were coming down, because you have to go over this pass from the coast to get to Bend, and my tire was wheel was ready to fall off.
Black ice? Or no? Oh, it was just the tire.
It was something was wrong with the anyway.
Oh my gosh, both of you almost
we got really lucky that we didn't crash.
Don't go to Bend, Oregon unless you're going to this Blockbuster.
Drive a new car. But so anyway, I had visited, and I thought, how cool would it be if I did that soundtrack list in Blockbuster?
Right.
Kept trying to call the owner, and she was really hard to get a hold of. Super nice. Got to meet her now finally. But so this is an idea I had for a couple of years. And then this last March, we were taking a trip to the coast, and I thought, let's try it one more time. I had my assistant reach out this time, and she responded. It was all about it. And so I'm like, okay, I could set up my Ring camera and a phone and do it, or I could go big. So I hired a videographer.
Did you find one in the area, or?
My friend Justin Babbitt, a lot of people know who he is out of Portland. He referred him to me. So this guy named Caleb, I hit him up and we brainstormed ideas. So instead of me just doing my normal like at the table mixes, we came up with some other ideas.
Yeah.
And so I did a series. I think we did 6 total videos. 2 are me mixing in front of like in the store in front of like a Blockbuster sign and like an old TV with a VHS, player on it, doing the top countdowns. But then we decided to go like what's like what it was like on a Friday night in the 80s or in the 90s. And so I walk through the store and I'm grabbing DVDs off the shelf. And as I go there, he goes to a movie clip of Top Gun and the song plays. And then, not that one. And so I'm just walking around the store. Yeah. So it's really cool. Like we just got really creative with it and came up with some really fun ideas.
That's awesome.
You know how many countless nights with like girlfriends or wives or whatever that I've spent in a video store just fighting. Fuck it, you pick something. I don't even care anymore. Fuck it, we'll watch that. Yes, sure.
Totally.
I just remember being a kid and on like Friday night after school, getting to go to Blockbuster and like pick out a movie to watch was like the best thing ever.
Yeah.
You were like, we're going to Blockbuster tonight.
I always looked forward to it.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you remember when they started bringing in video games? So you could get
Nintendo 64 and like getting the 7-day rental when they went from like 3 days to 7 days. I was like,
so that's what ruined my parents' business because we were you had to return the next day, and they started doing the 3 to week because back in my days, you actually had to the VHSs cost a fortune. They weren't like $10, $20. They would be like $100. And so like getting a lot, that was Blockbuster's strength, is you would get hundreds of this one thing and they could put them to all their franchises. So yeah, it was it's what like really put them over the top, is being able to get any film at the time.
Sad story.
well, okay. I'm remembering why we brought this up, and I wanted to talk about this. And it's not to get off this. We're going to come back to yours, but it's about thinking in the future, like thinking about this. My parents were unable to realize that Blockbuster was coming. They weren't able to see that, and they kind of just got buried because they weren't able to look into the future of stuff going, happening. So. We'll come back to that. I'm jumping all around. I'm sorry. First episode that we're doing it live, and I don't know how the fuck to do this.
This is going great, I think.
I think it's interesting though that even Blockbuster didn't have the foresight to see like the Netflix coming, and then like even like what was Netflix was what originally the DVD would get sent to your house and then you would send it back.
Yep.
So it even took out it took the step of having to visit the video store completely away, and then. Next thing you know, it's
Redbox.
Right. Redbox was the thing. And then Netflix went to the streaming service and it really changed everything.
And that there is a movie on Netflix about the last Blockbuster, right? I don't know if you watched it.
I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
It's it talks about how people still love the nostalgia of going and like looking at it. And it's still very popular in that city. So it still does really well. And I think, even though I said I'd argue with girlfriends, the idea of going and actually being able to pick something instead of sitting on your couch and just being like not liking anything, I would almost like that better.
There's something to be said for like holding a physical copy of something.
And it's a nice family outing.
Yes.
Right? Like you watch a movie now, I have 2 kids and it's on the couch kind of bickering about whatever. But the fact you can get up, go, pick out popcorn, look at movies, everybody kind of does their own thing, comes back to each other. It's like it's an event that you're doing to pick out those movies. And I love that.
Snacks. Yeah. Because like when I was a kid, it'd be like, Dad, we're getting a movie. Can we get snacks too? No. We came for a movie. We're not getting snacks too.
No red vines.
Yeah.
Oversold like
snow
popcorn. You have to heat up.
This is a little off the snacks thing, but do you remember going to the counter and hoping you saw somebody return a movie that wasn't available?
Oh my God, dude. Like, we would just post up because the deadline was at 6, right? And you post up waiting, see if it came in the little bin.
Sure. And people don't understand. You had to rewind the tape before you turned it back in.
Be kind, rewind.
I mean,
that's one of those things you put in your little clip, right? Or is that what you're calling the series?
No, it was just a graphic thing.
It was
part of it. Yeah, part of the promo.
Okay.
There's nothing that pissed me off worse as a kid when you have your like VHS collection and you're like watching for digging through at home to like watch whatever, and then you pop it in, and nobody that like whoever watched it last didn't rewind it. You're like, damn it.
For sure.
So you go to this Blockbuster. Do you script out some of these ideas? Because I think all of us are trying to do content, right? And you're killing it on the content. Brainstorming these kind of things, right? So you were noticing what was trending. It clicked with you. You thought out of the box, but I just want to keep underlining this fucking out of the box, be fucking unique. Did you scripted some of these ideas like with that videographer and like how you're gonna do some of these, come up with some of these things, or did you do a lot of it live, or what was that?
It was all planned out.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. So I knew I was going to do the table mixes, and then actually my business manager Emily had an idea. She's like, "You need to think a little bit bigger, like be more creative." So she was encouraging me to be more creative, and I don't remember whose idea it was exactly, but it was like I did some videos that I haven't put out yet that I sit down because so at this Blockbuster they have kind of a roped off living room that is nostalgic to the 90s.
Okay.
It's got a TV with a DVD player, old couch.
Yeah.
And so what we did is I sit down on the couch, put a DVD in, sit on the couch, turn it on. And what's going to happen is we're going to superimpose me actually doing one of the mixes so I'm watching myself do the mix. I haven't seen him edit it yet, but he's going to kind of go back and forth between me and
I love that.
Me on the screen.
Yeah.
And me on the couch. So we just kind of came up with these ideas and tried to figure out how can we make it just not the same old thing.
Right.
And then the walkthrough was planned out too.
So you got a hold of them. This is all, I'm guessing, before hours or after hours.
Yeah, we scheduled it. I think they open at 10:30. And so on a Saturday, I showed up at 8 a.m.
Okay.
Recorded. Some people started to come in, and I think we shot to like 11:30.
Oh, okay.
And but it wasn't very busy. So we didn't have to worry about that. But yeah.
And they liked the promo, I'm sure, right?
They were excited to do it. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Yep. So
what's the point of the last Blockbuster? Like, is it just a nostalgia like shop? Do they actually rent videos there?
They rent videos.
It's a full, it's in use, but it's definitely a museum as well.
That's cool.
So you could walk through and see, like, I think there's an outfit from Back to the Future.
Oh, okay.
And there's old DVD players and things like that.
Well, I want to say that's just smart on their part for like, okay, maybe the money's not coming, but like everyone's coming through tourism wise. So let's like, almost make it a gift shop. I don't know what they're doing.
It really is. Yeah. You can buy hoodies and
that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. See, that's smart.
Dog scarves, all kinds of things.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you film all this stuff, and then you just got to get back to the editing room, and clip it all out. So do you have in your mind, like, how many reels I'm going to do? What's the advertising? Like, I don't know. Cause I guess I always just fly by the seat of my pants. So I'm trying to understand how to actually map things out.
So I had the call with Caleb, the videographer editor.
Yeah.
And we came up with, okay, I'm going to do 2 table mixes, 2 walkthroughs,
right?
80s and 90s. And then we're doing 3 of the sit down watching myself mix music. Right. We did 80s, 90s, and the 2000s. So we came up, and then we're doing some promos. There's this other thing I can't talk about yet with Blockbuster that I'm going to team up with them later on in the year. But I did some promos for that as well. So we ended up with 7 total videos, and I was going to post 2 a week, but I don't know. I feel like spreading them out a little more. It kind of becomes a bit much, I think. So still have, I think, 3 videos that need to be posted. So we're just spreading it out over a couple months. But I literally just started a notes app.
Yeah.
And like figured out what clips and songs I need to get the editor, what he needs from me, and we just kind of go back and forth through Slack and communicate that way.
We love Slack.
Yeah,
Slack's great.
Something I want to ask is just looking and really analyzing your analytics, right? And understanding that. So you are looking at your analytics and you're realizing like, oh, this is aggressive by original thought, and then you pull back, or like, do you feel like you just see like, oh, the engagement isn't where I want, or how do you judge that? You know what I mean?
For this particular thing, or just in general?
It's fine. Yeah.
Someone a super fan of mine gave me an idea to do the like hits from whatever. And I thought the first video I ever did was 97, because that's the year I graduated high school.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was really popular. So like,
I
did
that out.
I'm not afraid to share my age. It's old though.
I would graduate 96, so like
Okay.
I'm older. I get it.
Yeah. So, but you know, I did one of those videos. Yeah. And then I'm paying attention to the analytics. I'm paying attention to who responds, how well it does. And I go, okay,
Yeah.
I definitely have people in their 40s who follow me.
Okay.
And I knew that before, but then I started dipping into the 80s.
Yeah.
And those videos were getting shared a bunch and I was getting new followers from them. And so now I'm like, okay, I've got this really strong group from 40 to 60.
Yeah.
And so I lean into that.
Right.
And now it's like one of my strategies is to lean into stuff a little newer so I can kind of grow that audience base.
Right.
But yeah, is that what you're asking?
Yeah. Well, I am asking a lot of that. And then just I guess we need to pay a little bit more attention to analytics, right? So it really like breaks down a lot of that stuff. I think I've just started looking at it. Bringing it up.
It's really good. I mean, I know, not off the top of my head, but I can go and see, okay, I know a large percentage of my followers are women and they're between actually technically 35 and 55. And I know that I have a big group in New York City. And I have a big group in Australia that follow me and like, I can pay attention to all of that.
Right.
Yeah. We just kind of post stuff right now.
I think most people do. Yeah.
And, you know, we're like, oh, that one kind of did well. Or like, we'll post one that I think's really good and then it won't do anything. So, but that's how it goes sometimes.
Exactly how it goes.
Well, I just want to say, like, again, compliment you on thinking out of the box and doing one of these things because it is hard. And at least in our industry, I find there is only so many angles, right? I don't fully believe this, but at the same time, there's like kind of like so many angles of it has to be music based, right? It has to be, you want it to be in front of people. It doesn't necessarily have to be, but you kind of want these things that highlight it. So thinking out of the box and going to the blockbuster takes out the audience. You don't need the audience anymore. You can just relate to the nostalgia era of it. So it is that outward thinking to be able to just connect with the social media style of promotion.
And that's how I think too, is like, okay, I could think mix only.
Yeah.
But now I'm realizing people aren't liking what I do just for the music. They like it because the music takes them somewhere.
Right.
And so as I move forward, I need to think about what kind of content can I create that gives people that feeling of going back to maybe a happier time or a younger time. And what are different ways that I can do that besides just playing 10 songs or whatever.
And again, I want to compliment you again, because that's something that my parents were unable to do, is see the future. Right. And it's something that I truly try and live by today, is like, just because things are good right now doesn't mean they're going to be good next year, you know, and just seeing like, okay, well, being 10 steps ahead of yourself. Like it's scary to think of, but like, yeah, just, okay, where am I going to go? Like always one-upping yourself.
It's smart. I think too, like what if something, so I do a lot of travel events.
Right.
And even when I was doing local parties, what if another COVID hits, or what if I hurt my shoulder or leg or something and I can't go do all these events? What other revenue streams can I create? And so those are things I'm trying to work on as well.
Blockbuster merch.
Dude, you never know. It's like merch.
No, merch is I love the merch idea. And you're wearing you got some of your own merch. Like what's that angle you're working on?
I haven't leaned too much into it, but I hired a designer to produce some shirts and hats and different things. And, you know, I should probably be a better salesperson and push them more on social.
I'm not tough. It's always tough. I feel like it's just tough. I'm like, I told him the other day, I'm like, I don't want to focus on the merch because I was like, it's there. If somebody wants it, they can go get it.
It's kind of how
but like what I want to focus on is just growing this as a whole. And if we grow this, it'll grow all the things, you know, and that's kind of my thought with it. But I mean, I like cool merch. I want cool merch, you know. I like buying cool merch from bands I like and stuff. So
for sure.
But
yeah, and I think it's leaning into your followers again, like what would they want to wear? And so I went through a lot of my posts and I'll go, what kind of words are people saying in my posts?
Yeah.
And so now I'm thinking, okay, how can I create merch and sayings and different things that can go on the merch that people connect with that aren't just ER.
At,
or 3R.
Totally. At 3R. What are the 3R stand for? We're working on that, right?
Really ridiculously.
Nice.
I heard this on a seminar. I want to say it was at least one of the DJ podcasts or DJ seminars. And the idea was in your tagline using stuff that people write on your reviews, right? And so like you're kind of taking that with the comments, right? So it's a good way of just always, as things evolve and change, like taking little things and applying it to the next deal. So
right. Yep. Absolutely. I think I learned it at a conference too.
Yeah.
It's like taking your reviews and putting it on your text on your website and all of that.
Yep.
And speaking of being at conferences, we're here at Midwest Live, and this is my first time here. I know it's not yours. Have you been to this conference before?
This is my second. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's a good show.
What do you like best about being here at Midwest?
Well, one, it's in Midwest, so it's not Vegas. I'll give it that, right?
Right.
They're I'm not being deterred from all the shiny lights and stuff to do. So that's number one, I would say. But I think it's in the middle of the country.
Right.
I like that it's easy for everyone to get to, right?
Right.
Well, partially.
Partially.
Getting into Milwaukee is a little bit of a trick, but yeah, for the most part, it's in the middle of the country, so it makes it good to.
What about you?
Couple of things. I think the people behind it do a really good job of producing the show, and I think their intent behind it is to help people grow, get better, and so I just really love the intent. I think the production value is good, and then a lot of the people that come to this show, like you guys, and I've had so many good conversations just from last night, that I know I'm going to get a lot out of it, just that alone.
I mean, we stayed up until probably 3. We were trying to go to bed at 1, and I think we stayed up for 2 hours, just like the seminars you hadn't even started, and our brains were just going, okay, and this and this and this and this and this, and like the wheels are spinning like crazy. But and it's just inspiration.
It's not, and I think this is important for people to understand for coming to any conference, not just Milwaukee. It's not just business; it's personal too. You can see stuff that helps you from like a personal level, like of how to better yourself, how to like. We were talking about a lot of that stuff last night, just like and. Sometimes when you're around other people, like such as yourself, you're very health conscious, or even like Todd Powers, very, very health conscious. And like when you're around those kind of people, it's inspiring to want to be better, yourself.
Yeah.
And I like that because I like coming to these things and seeing other people that are here that care about like DJing. Obviously, we're all here because we care about like being better. But when you're around those like-minded people that are doing other things within their life, not just DJing, it's like inspiring. So I think that's cool.
Yeah.
100% with you on that. Yeah. And everybody has their own angle, right? You might have a DJ that's very production focused, or a DJ that's, I don't know, just business focused. And you have a conversation with them and they get you to think about what you're doing in a different way. And you're like, oh, okay. And that's just that one conversation you had.
Right.
And I think about this when I read books too. I like to read a lot of like business books, personal development.
You do audio tapes, though, right? You don't actually read.
Oh, I read.
Yeah.
What? 10 pages a day, every morning.
If it's not a movie, then I'm not reading it.
Oh man,
I'm kidding.
It's hard. It's hard for a lot of people to read.
I do audiobooks.
I think everything of it has to do with that. I'm kind of like blind. I have a hard time. Like, so once the words just get so small, even with glasses,
I love the audiobooks. I put on my headphones and I go on my walks. I just like don't touch my phone, and I just like literally let it like consume. And like for me, it's easier than reading, but I know some people they can read it, and that's what helps them too. But I can't do that.
So kind of aligning with the or what I was saying about the books is a book may suck for half the time or maybe most of it, but you get all I'm looking for is like 1, 2, 3 possible nuggets out of it. And that's how I feel about these shows too. Like and I had a really great conversation last night with somebody, and he said something to me that just clicked. He didn't mean to. And I told him afterward, I think what you just said might be one of the reasons I'm supposed to be here. Like you just gave me something that I hadn't thought of. Yeah. And so I'm always kind of looking for that.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's why I like going to these kind of shows.
I'll compliment you because we were just at a DJ Collective together, and you got up and spoke, and something that just like hit me fucking square over the head was you don't like doing weddings because you get booked out so far, and you don't book yourself farther out than 6 months. And that to me is what I felt like. I never understood. I like weddings, right? What I don't like is the fact that it's a year out. And now I'm like, I don't really get anxiety, but the anxiety of being attached to something on a specific date, a year out, that I don't know what's going to happen is, it's aggressive, right? So I just realized, to pull that, that year tag, it's not doing that no more. And, and also just like, there was a couple things that I got from that, but that was one of something I got from your speech.
Yeah. And that's what I look for. Things like that. Going on what you just said, though, I don't want anybody just to think that they should just not book out a year in advance. I think you have to be in a certain spot to be able to do that.
Right.
And, because it's security if you can book out far enough. But if you're in a certain place, you don't want to get that far out and go, oh man, wedding's cool, but why I missed out on this thing or this vacation or this whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm using that for myself specifically. Yeah. I'm an asshole. It is what it is.
No, but that's all good stuff, and I'm glad we're here at this conference. And one of the things that we have to, it's a sponsor obligation, is if we got to say this.
You'd say it. I don't know what you're trying to say.
What I'm gonna say is, if you haven't used direct music service yet, you can use the promo code 𝐿𝐴 It'll get you 30% off your first month. We also recently started a Patreon page. So if you haven't signed up for that, check it out. We do a lot of stuff on there with exclusive edits, but more than that, episodes like this where we're going to talk some music, we put some of the music files into the Patreon. So if you hear us talking about certain files, some of those you can find in the Patreon with the drop with the episode. And on today's theme, kind of moving forward a little bit, we do want to talk some music, and we do want to talk movie soundtracks. And we all have talked before off camera about all of this, and we all got really excited about it. And so I'm going to open the list here. Eric, I'm going to let you kick us off with your first pick, and just anything you want to say about the song that you pick and why,
Okay. So when I was thinking about a list of songs, there's so many.
Oh my God.
It's
Even
ridiculous.
us talking here was like that movie and that song, right?
We could probably rip off 100 easy.
Right.
So it was a really hard thing to do, but I grew up in the 80s and 90s.
Yep.
So I figured I'd pick a few from the 80s, a couple from the 90s, and then also not necessarily songs that are, on the top 10 list of any website you go to, but ones that I just truly like.
Yeah.
So I'll just kick off with Rocky. Bill Conti,
so
Gonna
good.
Fly Now, like dun, 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 dun. It's just like it's hype, it's iconic.
Right.
I mean, fucking Philadelphia has a statue of him because of that, right?
Yeah.
Like it's so dedicated to how iconic it is. It is,
And if everybody goes, they want to go to the stairs and get their Instagram on.
And they're hearing that shit in their head too, when they're going up the stairs. So
I mean, it had to. I'm probably read this somewhere or whatever. I do read on the internet, or magazine clips. Okay. It's got to be short.
Truth comes out. No.
Well, I can make it bigger on the laptop.
Get Playboys just for the articles.
So it had to have been the inspiration for Eminem "Lose Yourself," right? And that's going to be on our thing, but that had to have been some of it. I feel like it had to have been.
Probably. I never really thought about that. Yeah, 100%.
It was like it was vision boarding. They put it up and they're like, Rocky, okay, go.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Like that conspiracy theory.
Sopranos, Italian food, mom's spaghetti. No, just kidding.
All right, Drew, what's your number one?
Well, I'm just gonna run with "Lose Yourself." Fuck it, because that's what it is. Eminem, "Lose Yourself." I'm running with it.
All right, it's a good one. Are you still playing that in your sets?
I play it every single week, actually.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
I need to bring it back.
I play it every single week. It was we always talk about going to see DJs, and I saw a DJ play it, and it was nothing I was playing it, and I was like, wow, like people screaming. I play it at corporate events. I play it every single night, and it's all about how you bring it in. I kind of do like an acapella out of like whatever song, and then let the guitars,
like the riff
intro.
Yeah.
So
let it build up.
It's like an acapella out, and then the riff comes in, and when the riff comes in, it's doing that it just gets the loudest scream, and then it comes in and it builds and it builds, and everyone's singing it. I only play the first verse and hook. I don't really get much into it. You can, but I think that's what hits the hardest.
Makes sense.
Love it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
My first pick is it's kind of a pick in several different ways for me. When I got my first car when I was 16, it had a cassette tape player in it, and it didn't have CD player like everybody else's car. And I had some of my dad's cassette tapes, and one of them was Elton John's Greatest Hits. So I popped that thing in there, and that's what I listened to. And I kind of fell in love with Elton John and all of his greatest hits. And one of the songs was Tiny Dancer. And I had heard it before, but because I drove that tape into the ground, I love the song. But one of my favorite movies is Almost Famous. Okay. And there's the scene in the movie where they sing that song on the bus.
Right.
Well, I saw Elton John in concert, and I thought this was one of the coolest little facts ever that he said. He never, when he made that song, he did it when it came out, and then he stopped doing the song at shows.
Really?
And it wasn't until that movie and that scene that reignited that song and that he started doing it at shows again.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's awesome. Because that's like a DJ thing too. Like, moments in pop culture that change like your sets.
Yeah.
So that's my first pick was Elton John, Tiny Dancer.
When I used to DJ video, I actually clipped that and I would play it like at the end of the nights or whatever. And it was massive. Like just everyone would watch it and they just resonated so much with that, It is a slow build until it gets into
I like the idea of playing that as like a last song at the end of the night at a bar. I think that could be fun.
Yeah.
There you go.
You gotta throw that on the notes for topic ideas of songs. So that's a good one.
I love it.
I like it.
All right.
Back to Eric.
Well, these aren't in any particular order, but I'll stick with the 80s. I'm a big Back to the Future fan. Love that movie. So Huey Lewis, Power of Love.
Love it.
Yeah. Love that song.
To this day, one of my favorite songs of all time, just because of the skateboard scene at the beginning.
Right.
Oh,
It's you know how many times I've tried to play it? It just doesn't work.
No, neither of these that I picked.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying, like, I want it to work, but it just doesn't work.
Right.
Yeah.
So badly, I want it to work.
I love Huey Lewis and the News too. Like they have so many jams.
So, have you ever seen the movie? We're gonna have to tangent because it's always gonna reignite a new movie. But the Psycho, it's Psycho, American Psycho, and he's like a giant Huey Lewis the News fan.
Right. That's what I was referring to. Not Hall & Oates earlier. Yes, American Psycho. We were talking off camera.
It's like Huey Lewis and the News. Like, how could they pick a more? I mean, it's not.
It doesn't fit.
It's good, but it's just random, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And could he have been bigger if his backing band wasn't the News? I don't know. Is that like kind of fucked up? You're like, oh, you're part of the news? Like, I don't know. All right, my second pick here. It's gonna have to be. I mean, this is just no questions asked. Cocktail Kokomo with Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
I got that tape. My parents got it, and we got that. That was me and my brother fist fought for that tape, and Kokomo just played so much, and I still love that song to this day. So
that song was all over the radio too back then. Gosh, it was everywhere.
And that's ironically like the Beach Boys like comeback song. That's a 90s. It came out like 1990 or something like that.
It was on Full House, I believe, too. There's like a scene where they go to like somewhere and watch the Beach Boys
in
play.
Full House, you know that, right?
Right. Yeah. John Stamos. Yeah. But also Cocktail is a great movie soundtrack too, because like Little Richard, Tutti Frutti.
Oh, so much in that.
What's the other song that he's playing where they're turning it up behind the bar when he's like physically? What song is it?
I'll actually be honest. I've never seen the movie.
What?
I know. I only had the soundtrack.
Oh my gosh!
At the time when I got it, my parents wouldn't let me watch it.
It's like,
and so I just never watched the movie.
Everything I love about like 80s, 90s, early 90s.
Put it in the notes.
It's like cheesy, but like good cheesy. And it's like, you're watching a movie when you watch it. Whereas like now movies are like, am I watching a movie right now? Or is this real life? Like,
right. Coming in, someone, I don't know how it came up, but when we got picked up, all of us were bullshitting about Tom Cruise actually being a movie star. Not actually being, but like we're saying, he doesn't get enough credit for it because he's like so big,
Yeah.
All right, next.
I'm gonna go with we were talking about this off camera. This is my all-time favorite movie, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and it's just an iconic scene. It's the Beatles' Twist and Shout when he's up there on the float.
Yeah.
It's just like the best.
Yeah. Another one that when I played video, I had to have that was the only thing I would play. Like hands down, it had to be that.
Do you guys play Twist and Shout?
Every
At
once in
events?
a while, when
Not
I'm
anymore.
like, when I'm, so I always, I'll do some events throughout the summer in a area of our town called Fountain Square, and there's like a stage, and they'll have DJs, and like every once in a while, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna live my Ferris Bueller moment. I'm downtown on the stage, I'm playing Twist and Shout, you know?
Yeah.
So every once in a while, I'll play it. Do you? How about you?
I used to play it a lot at weddings,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it would hit, but I
Yeah.
haven't in years. I
Yeah.
don't think. I'm curious now if it would
I'm
hit.
curious
I have an
too.
oldie set that I look at. That's at 130. There's just not all. I mean, in that like really like knock him over the head, oldie set. Just I don't have a lot up there,
Right.
but like that, like 70 to 80 BPM, like shit. I play a ton of that set. All still goes crazy.
So you want
to
to
this day.
you want so we need a transition that comes out at 80 right into the like 130 and it just hits.
Well, I think the way I always played it, if I'm being honest, is I'd play. I don't remember. I would play that, and then the middle song would be "Shout,"
Okay,
and
yeah.
then I'd drop down to that.
I have a transition that I actually got from DMS, which is Run Around Sue. It's from 130 or 128
Okay. I
down
I knew
to 72
Oh, yeah.
or something like that. Yeah, it's just a drum beat, and it's like,
Yeah.
hey,
Run
hey,
around
hey, hey,
Sue.
hey.
She's
But it-
she's a dirty little girl.
So I used to use that. Yeah, I used to go from Twist and Shout to that with
Right,
that transition.
right.
That I
Keep
got
away.
from DMS, DMS only.
keep away from Run Around Sue.
All right, what's your next?
I'll just stick with the 80s for now. Well, no, I'll skip that. We going to the 70s, Staying Alive, Saturday
Oh,
Night
yeah.
Fever.
Love it.
So good.
Just that the longevity of that song, people still making remixes of it. People
Mashups.
still mashing it up, like, and it's 50 years old.
Have you watched the Bee Gees documentary on HBO?
Oh my god,
gosh,
it's so good. It's so good.
All right.
It's like one of the best documentaries I've seen.
It's
No
crazy
shit,
because
okay.
they became so known for that movie because it was their biggest of all time, but that wasn't even what they were focused on. Like at the time, it just kind of happened. And they were living in Miami, and it just was like the sound of the era down there. So
Right.
it's crazy.
yeah,
Huh.
it's really
So there's
cool.
no intention of being iconic. That song.
No.
And how many songs they wrote for other people too,
Yeah.
that I didn't know about it.
I want to just comment on this is that it's always gotten me that for whatever reason in my head, I always thought the movie was called not Staying Alive because the song's so much bigger than Saturday Night Fever or You Should Be Dancing or whatever, like the actual, like it's named, you know?
It's really true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I always thought it
soundtrack's
was
just-
called Staying Alive.
That soundtrack's just like
Well, they did
banger.
like that. All their biggest hits are from that soundtrack
yeah. I
of all time.
Do You Should Be Dancing is on that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
Your
I don't even remember.
every one of their biggest hits is from that. Not every, but I think like the top 5 are all of them went like number 1.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Staying Alive has 1.2 billion Spotify streams, which is crazy for like an older song to have.
Yeah.
Sometimes like the older songs on Spotify don't always have billions of streams, but that
I think
one
it
does.
was
That's
like
crazy.
created off of a drum loop too. Like
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I do remember something
almost
in the
positive their
documentary.
drummer wasn't there and they sampled a beat that they had off some like thing and they looped it. It was like one of the early things of a loop. So
That's crazy.
fun fact.
All right, Drew,
All right.
hit us with the next pick.
I'm gonna go. I mean, this to this day, it just brought this back, and I still think it's that scene that made this song what it is Wayne's World, Bohemian Rhapsody. You know, it just
That car scene.
the car scene.
Yeah.
It's what put it over the top. You know, I think I saw on a podcast just recently, Dana Carvey saying, and don't quote me on this, but I want to say that he wasn't aware, he didn't know the lyrics like everyone else did. And that was like they were kind of sort of fighting at the time. And he didn't know the lyrics, and so they filmed it, and you can see he's kind of like just doing off the thing because he
But that's
doesn't really know
that's
it.
the
that's
Garth
funny.
too. Every
Right.
time he's like,
Right.
You
It
know?
plays
Yeah.
into it. But
Yeah,
like
yeah.
in the thing, he like let out that he didn't really know, and they were kind of arguing
That's-
before the scene.
that's so awesome
funny.
and hilarious.
You know what I was thinking about the song itself is it charted
Right.
that year. It's on like the Billboard Hot 100. And
Yeah.
I'm not sure where it's at. And now it makes me wonder. I wonder if that's one of the first times where an old song came back
oh,
and made it to the chart
interesting.
because of a movie.
Right.
Interesting. That is cool. But that is the cool part about soundtracks. Like a movie can revive any song.
Well, we just talked about this earlier, and I won't keep it in my picks, but Saltburn brought back that whole era, like blog house era, right? And they brought back Murder on the Dance Floor because the dude, none of us have seen it, so spoiler alert. But pause this and skip 2 seconds. But yeah, he's dancing around with his yo-yo flapping around, saying "Murder on the Dance Floor," and you know, and that's what brought it back. And so all the girls love it because his yo-yo is just going crazy. You know? He's doing around the world and walk the dog, and everyone's going crazy. So yeah,
I did not know that, and I don't. It makes me think differently about playing that song.
The girls are the one that asked for it because they love it so much. It's
I always
crazy.
told Drew if we were gonna, because Drew loves to use the term yo-yo for wiener, and I think if we were gonna have
this was PG. What are you doing?
if we were gonna have a DJ alias instead of the bingo players, we could be the yo-yo players.
All right.
Focus. All right. My next pick. Dirty Dancing soundtrack. The whole soundtrack's amazing. If you haven't seen the movies that made us on Netflix, they're like 30-minute, 45-minute clips about how movies got made. And this one is fascinating because it was such a low budget movie.
Right. I love that show.
Oh my God.
So good.
So good.
Yeah.
But my pick is Eric Carmen, Hungry Eyes. That's my pick from the soundtrack.
Okay.
I like that song. There's obviously the time of my life. There's so many.
Well, why don't you do a little Patreon shout for the Bruno Mars one?
Okay, yeah. So we just did a little bootleg of Bruno Mars over top of like a house remix of Hungry Eyes, and we got some edits, and there's a combo edit that's got both in there. So yeah, shout out to that.
Yeah, there you go. All right, keep it pushing.
Love it. Let's go. Okay, so this one isn't necessarily iconic. The movie I don't know if it was a huge hit, but Above the Rim.
Okay.
Warren G and Nate Dogg, Regulate. Love that song.
Yeah.
Classic hip hop song.
Yeah.
And I think it's worth mentioning. And
Definitely.
It's a song I use that helped me go viral. So I definitely have
That was the first one. That video.
It wasn't. It was one of the first that just really blew up on TikTok.
How many did that get?
Originally on TikTok, I got 17 million views.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
But so I was talking to somebody last night about it. It was that and Morgan Wallen.
Yeah.
How many views does it have? I think it was 8, and I don't know, but across all my pages, probably 30 million.
Yeah.
But then to think about all the people that use that sound and their videos went viral, I bet collectively 100+ million views on that
because
song
other
alone.
people
It's
reposted
crazy.
it too, right? Like
they would
took your
react
video.
to it.
Yeah.
And those went even more viral than my video did.
Yeah.
So it's just wild to think about. So anyway, I'm grateful for that song.
That's cool though.
It's a Long Beach classic.
That's right.
There.
Yeah, that's your area.
So that's cool, man. Very cool. It's great. Great pick. I'm gonna go with just a 90s one. This is Red Hot Chili Peppers, Coneheads, Soul to Squeeze. The video of that is just super dope. And ironically enough, with that, the Blood Sugar Sex Magic, one of their biggest albums, that was one that got cut from the album, and they put it on that soundtrack because they asked for it, and they were just like, "Yeah, here you go," and it becomes one of their biggest hits. But I just love that guitar part. I love all
that
about
song.
it. Yeah,
that's such a good pick. That's one of my favorite songs of all time, man. I love that.
Yeah, for sure. And it was after like Frusciante had left, and then that came out, right? And that's why I think I connected again, because I just love Frusciante so much, and it brought back their sound when they were kind of flailing around with Dave Navarro.
Right. Two things. Since you mentioned Red Hot Chili Peppers, what popped in my head is Beavis and Butthead Do America, Love Roller Coaster.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. And then two, you read books. Did you read Scar Tissue, Anthony Kiedis' book?
No, I haven't.
Really, it's messed up.
Yeah.
That's probably been through some shit, huh?
Oh my gosh. It's insane. It's insane.
And he's like a heroin addict or something.
Yeah. And talk about him and Flea, shooting up heroin and then working out. Not what normal heroin addicts do.
Yeah. Being productive.
No, it's good.
It's highly entertaining.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great choice.
All right. You?
I have so many picks here. There's so many I don't want these to define me.
That's kind of how I felt too.
I don't want these to define me.
That's funny.
But I'm gonna go with Blue Suede, "Hooked on a Feeling" from Guardians of the Galaxy.
We actually said Guardians of the Galaxy because that whole soundtrack I mean, a good soundtrack, like say Pulp Fiction, right? Stuff that the soundtrack becomes just as big as the movie.
Right.
Because it's so on point. And
really, we didn't even mention that one with Johnny B. Good.
Right.
Or the Chuck Berry, the Pulp Fiction. We didn't even mention that.
Not with Back to the Future.
Right.
Yeah. Soundtracks are really a DJ, right? So what if that's a job that we should be like, I don't know, maybe someone could like take that over, but like being a curator, right, for these movies, like as you transition out of DJing, you maybe just start like curating some of these things. It is interesting, right?
I think
there's different ways and avenues.
I think there are opportunities there, especially I'm getting some opportunities to curate playlists for restaurants and different businesses that are opening. They're hitting me up going, "Hey, I got this place in Florida that I want a certain vibe, and I like what you put out there." So I think there are opportunities outside of just performing in front of a crowd.
I'm curating a restaurant as well.
Right?
Badass. So,
I mean,
so
there's
a thing for sure.
Yeah.
All right, who's picked? Eric, back to you. I think.
Yeah.
I have to go with Gangsta's Paradise, Coolio, Dangerous Minds soundtrack. That was not only a great movie, but that song just still lives on. And I remember back in '95, I think it was everywhere. That song just owned that year.
Yeah.
That movie too was huge.
Yeah, so good.
Meg Ryan.
No,
it's
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Michelle Pfeiffer. Yeah.
I every time I'm saying okay, I just send the Coolio gif. Oh, sorry. Anyways, left field. There you go. It's mine. I'm gonna go with Shrek, and I'm a believer. I just did this wedding, and this is why I'm bringing it up. And someone put it in my comments on the bride was tagged onto the video clip that we did, and the bride and the groom are saying, no, actually, I take that back. It was maybe the photo booth person. And they commented, "I never thought the Shrek soundtrack would destroy at a wedding as hard as it did tonight." And that's
a huge compliment.
To be fair, I did not play those because I was like, "Oh, let me be unique and go Shrek on it." They had picked a lot of them, right? So it was like a thing.
Right.
But I did play like a bunch of songs from the whole Shrek thing, and it just was mopping the floor with the place.
That's awesome.
It's amazing.
All right, my next pick is we were talking off camera about this and how Kenny Loggins just destroyed the soundtrack game in the 80s and early 90s. So my pick is Kenny Loggins, "I'm All Right," the theme to Caddyshack. And I know Drew's got a story. So why don't you tell us about that?
So I DJ'd Simo's wedding, and they left this little part out, but this is the great part about being able to be on the fly. And they came up and they're like, "You have to play the theme from Caddyshack and also Christmas Vacation." The two, which that's a great one too. But I
Holiday Road.
Holiday Road. Yeah.
Lindsey Buckingham.
So it's his Simo and his dad's, I guess. So you probably know them better than I do. You're the one that told me to play it. Anyways, you came up, you got to play these. And so I play it, and the whole place just goes nuts. And Simon and his dad are out there doing like a dance to it. Like it was amazing.
Yeah. It's a classic. Caddyshack.
Yeah. It's a great one. Good pick.
Love it. Still going?
Yep.
It's your turn.
Okay.
You had another Kenny Loggins one.
I know. I'm trying to decide if I go that route or not. Yeah. I mean, if we're going Kenny Loggins, Danger Zone, and I'll just throw in Footloose too.
Yeah.
Like, those are just.
Was Island in the Streams a movie?
Kenny Rogers.
Kenny
Loggins.
Kenny Rogers. Oh,
yeah.
All the Kennys, man.
Oh, Kenny Loggins had a song too. It wasn't as well known. I think it was a slow song, kind of a ballad, but in Over the Top with Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, okay. Well,
wrestling movie.
I will say that does connect though, because the sample from Islands in the Stream is a Ghetto Superstar, and that is from a movie, Bullworth. Right?
That's right. Yeah.
And so there you go. There's your little.
But
movie.
the other Kenny Loggins song is "Playing with the Boys" with the shirt scene in Top Gun.
So that was another tape that I had, and let's just. If you haven't seen, if you have not seen this clip on YouTube, look it up. But it's from a movie, and it's Quentin Tarantino. I don't even know if it's one of his movies, but he gives a whole thing on why Top Gun is like technically like Tom Cruise trying to go straight or gay.
Oh my God.
and he's saying Iceman is like trying to convince him to be like team gay. And so like the peak season part of it is when he's playing with the boys.
And,
yeah. And he says like, you have to watch it because it breaks it down. It's like after he hooks up with Kelly McGinnis, like she's dressed like a guy in the elevator.
Oh my
like
God.
it's so nuts when you hear Quentin, because Quentin's a movie buff, right? So he's of course nerding out to way too nth of the degree on this shit, but it's funny. It's a funny look up.
I just want to throw this out there. I think Caddyshack's a pretty big movie, right? And you know how we were talking about the Bee Gees having over 1 billion streams on that song.
Yeah.
But I'm all right. The theme from Caddyshack only has 49 million plays on Spotify. So if that kind of tells you like that, I mean, that movie was huge. That song wasn't as big as like Staying Alive, but like it's just crazy to think the difference in play.
Let's say like Footloose. I bet that gets played a lot. And I bet that's
Footloose has almost 1 billion. It's at 900 million.
You know, you've heard the story.
There's only got to be a few of those older songs that are at that level.
Have you heard the story of Kevin Bacon goes to every wedding DJ and he pays them to not play it?
I could see that.
Yeah, it's the thing. He says every single one, he goes early and he goes to the wedding DJ. He gives them a bunch of money and he says, no matter what, do not play this. And the reason is not because he doesn't want to do it. The reason is because he doesn't want to take away from the bride.
Makes sense.
Upstager.
Right.
And so
he's actually being a nice guy about it.
Yes.
It's not because he just doesn't want the attention or whatever.
I'm sure it's twofold. I mean,
he's probably sick of it.
I think I saw this on Reddit and it was just what was funny.
It's gotta be true then.
No, it was like an
I've heard that too, actually.
But
okay. So it is true.
The reason for it, everyone was like commenting. They're like, if I was like getting married, I'd want to see him do it. Like that would be amazing, you know?
Right.
So yeah, you could fight on that. But we listed our 5, but we have 1 billion honorable mentions. So why don't you just like kind of run through them?
Do you want to give one more pick? Why don't we give one?
I gave my 5, but okay.
You've got to do your seal.
Okay,
one.
I have one. What is it?
Your seal one.
Oh.
How's it go?
All right. Well, then I got to give 2. Okay, so there's who said that song? What is the song?
It's "Kiss from a Rose" from Batman Forever.
Okay,
and you've got it.
Okay,
down.
so there's a meme where the guy zooms in. I mean, this is again what we're talking about, right? The memes are the new soundtrack or the new movies. This is TikTok, and it's all paying attention. It all correlates. But this guy just how do you even come up with this, right? Yeah. Like this guy grabbed that song and it zooms in on people wearing loafers and goes, my boys got on them. Da, 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 da. And that's it. That's the whole clip.
And I just want you to know that clip of Drew singing was so accurate that this episode's going to be flagged now for copyright issues because the singing was so good on that.
Oh man! So if you see me start wearing loafers with socks, like you know why? Because I got on them. Da 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 da. Okay, my other honorable mention is my parents are Mormon, and so growing up, we were supposed to go to this before church thing. It was called seminary, and I didn't want to go. So my friends went to the early one. So if you had 0 period, you would go to that. And so I was like, oh, mom, drop me off the late one. And so I drop off the late one and then I jump in their car and go home and watch MTV. And so any song at that era in my life, I love every single one. So like Radiohead Creep, Insane in the Brain, Stone Temple Pilots, like anything that was like this exact one. But this song, I still love this song because it was in that rotation and it was Whitney Houston from Bodyguard, I Will Always Love You. And to this day, I still love it. And there's this part at the end. We saw Lil Jon and he dropped this, Cole dropped it. But and it just crushed. It crushed so hard. But there's a little part when it comes back on and she goes, Lover, yeah. She does like this like baritone like drop. And it's still my favorite part of it.
Awesome.
So, there you go.
Love it.
Lover. Yeah.
Man, with all this good singing, I don't see how anybody's
this show's screwed. Very good.
And flag on the floor.
All right. So my last pick, official pick for the thing is going to be, let's see. Elvis, Hound Dog from Forrest Gump.
Wow.
It's when, Forrest Gump teaches him how to dance. And if it wasn't for Forrest Gump, there would be no Elvis Crazy Legs, which that movie is so hilarious to me for that reason that Forrest Gump taught all these different people life lessons. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that whole soundtrack is like, it's a double disc. And it's like, I mean, they're just spanning decades of all the popular stuff. Of course, you can throw it all in there.
For sure. And so that's my pick. Some honorable mentions I'm just going to throw out here. Don't cancel us for this one, but R. Kelly, I Believe I Can Fly from Space Jam.
I almost sent that to someone the other day. It's like kind of like I was in my head and we were talking about something and I was going to send that. I was like, oh, whoops, doesn't land as well as I thought it was going to land.
Right. And so that song was just so big and that movie was so big that LeBron James thought he had to do a remake and it wasn't good. And then Gary Glitter, the scene with the Joker when he's coming down the stairs. Again, another canceled song. Don't cancel
that
us.
One was crazy because that song was already canceled.
Right.
And then they put it in the movie.
Right.
So you know how they kind of said the Joker 2 was almost like a thing in its own self.
It's a musical.
No, well, right. But that was kind of a lot of the press on it. It got such bad reviews. They were saying that that's the idea of the whole movie is the movie was created as almost like the Joker fucking trolling everybody. And so, anyways, I wonder if they put something like that in because of it, right?
Right. I'm sure there's intent behind a lot of that stuff. Another honorable mention is we had 51st Dates that has like a really good movie soundtrack.
So yeah, 311. Adam Sandler heard I saw this on his thing, but I like doing all these back reviews because I like to understand this stuff. But Adam Sandler had on hit up the singer from 311 because they made Amber, and he goes, I want to make a whole soundtrack based on this of all 80s stuff. And so he actually helped everybody redo all their songs.
Yeah, because all those songs are like covers. Like the Lips Like Sugar is a cover from the original.
Right, but he was the guy that like basically hit up all the bands and said, I want a cover version of all this.
That's amazing. Wow. I didn't know that. Another honorable mention was the Simple Minds, Don't You Forget About Me. Honorable mention is not even the right word because these are all bangers. Yeah. Okay, so Cyndi Lauper.
Goonies Are Good Enough. I like that was me.
Yeah, one of my favorites.
I like that song, and it just doesn't do what I wanted to, but I still love it.
All the
Disney people know it. It was just kind of sad.
All the Disney songs, the Under the Sea, You Got a Friend, or
Lion King. You can play those in sets because they hit,
right?
Because everyone watched them.
Clueless, Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, Knock on Wood, Cardigans, Love Fool from Romeo and Juliet, Post Malone, Sunflower from Spider-Man, Justin Timberlake, Can't Stop the Feeling from Trolls. Pharrell, Happy. What movie is that? Despicable Me.
Despicable Me.
Why can't Justin Timberlake just go and like just make that album, right? Like why he's making these shitty albums? Just go. You made a fucking instant hit. Just go and get the team that did that one and just make the hit. We don't
completely agree.
We don't need the 3 shit albums, bro. Come on, kill me.
Scooter's gonna hate us for knocking on his boy here, JT. But another honorable mention, Aerosmith. Don't Want to Miss a Thing.
You were saying that was a huge karaoke song.
Oh my god, huge. So I I booked a karaoke bar in town for a while called Tokyo Kitty, and it was karaoke until 11, and then from 11 to close, it was like a DJ, like a dance party set. Not saying that karaoke DJs aren't dance; it would just kind of like switch over. And I would always get there like an hour early just to watch the karaoke because I thought it was hysterical. Like, because you get somebody who's amazing and then you get somebody who's terrible. And it's just like so bad that you can't help but laugh. I would have to I'd be like setting up and I would have to turn around because it was so bad that I'm like laughing. But without fail, every time I played there, I would hear Aerosmith. I Don't Want to Miss a Thing. And then another one, Four Non-Blondes. That was the other big.
What movie is that from?
Oh no, it's just
a song
karaoke.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Since we're going random, we were talking with Chad, and he's going to be on coming up. Chad Blackburn. But the idea of karaoke and understanding sing-alongs and that songs people pick is like a great way to like incorporate those into your set. And I think a lot of people like overlook that, right? I was just like karaoke is whatever, but people pick those for a reason, right? And so if people are picking those, it's gonna hit at your dance set,
right?
For sure,
It's a
especially if
great
you're
point.
paying attention to the crowd reaction.
Yes.
Right.
They're all singing along
Right.
with the singer.
Yes.
Then you got something to
Right.
at least
So
test out.
It's something to think about.
A couple more mentions. Prince, Purple Rain from Purple Rain. Goo Goo Dolls, Iris from City of Angels, which that song, I saw something on like a TikTok where it was him talking about the song and like how that song like launched their career essentially, but like that song wasn't, it was, I can't remember, but there's something specific behind that song and their band, and I was like fascinated by that, but I don't quite recall.
What about the Crow soundtrack?
What
That,
song?
Stone Temple Pilots.
Oh yeah. Sixpence None the Richer, Kiss Me from She's All That. I also was another 50 Cent from the Get Rich or Die Trying, the Hustler's Ambition, Window Shopper, Best Friend, all those songs.
We got to wrap up. Throw them in the comments. You got any last ones that you want to throw?
I mean, Stand By Me. I'm going back to these old ones.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good
Love that movie. What else I got? You mentioned Ferris Bueller. My favorite from that is Yellow. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. The bus scene.
I played it in my set the other night at the DJ. I'm sorry, at Mex for our set. I dropped that, and it's just one of those things where people are just like, "Oh shit!" Like, and you play it fast enough, people get it. You know, it's good.
So before I started DJing, I went to raves in like the late '90s, early 2000s, and I remember hearing a DJ spin on vinyl that song in a house set. And I was like, "Whoa!" It blew my mind. Back then, people weren't really. I don't feel like doing that.
Right.
And
people
went crazy. Yeah. Anyway, so that one.
Hey, I'm gonna make that my drop. You know, in Serato, it's like.
I love that. That'd be hilarious.
I'll do last one. This is kind of an obscure one, but from Train Spotting, movie in the 90s, Underworld, Born Slippy. Electronic.
Jeez. Lust for Life. Is that in that movie?
Iggy Pop?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Oh, it's such a. I only know because I looked it up. I don't remember the part, but it is a big part of that movie.
Okay. Yeah.
Man, there's just so
So
many. Yeah, and the songs change the mood. Like if you, we've talked about this before. Where like, what if you just took a movie and then re-soundtracked it?
Right.
How different it could make the feel of the movie. So
think if you're wearing different shoes, you're wearing loafers, and you got on them. Da 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 da.
Well, have you? It's this kind of. You know that's gonna pop up all over our feeds now, which I'm excited about.
I'm helping everyone else. It's all going in your feeds.
yeah.
Thank me later.
But have you seen Elf, where they redo Elf, but they change the tone?
Oh, yeah,
and it becomes like a thriller.
Yeah,
Right,
yes,
right,
I have
right,
seen
right.
that.
And a big part of that is obviously how they edited it together, but
Right.
it's the songs they use,
Right.
the way it changes the tone of the whole movie.
Everything comes back to DJing. Who knew?
It really comes down to music.
Yeah.
It does. Music is make or break what it is, you know?
Yeah,
For
totally.
sure.
Well, we're running out of time here, and we got to wrap up. Eric, do you want to? You've been on the show before. You've been on tons of other podcasts. Just if there's anything you want to promote that you got coming up, you're welcome to do it, or just tell people where
Watch
to
the
find
Blockbuster thing.
Yeah,
search
go
his
check out my
Blockbuster
videos
thing.
on
Yeah.
Instagram, TikTok, Facebook at DJ Eric Rhodes. I also have a Patreon if you guys want some edits and
Okay.
mixes.
Hell yeah.
That
What's
is
that?
DJ Eric Rhodes
Okay.
Patreon. Yep.
Nice.
So that's it. That's all I got right now.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Appreciate you guys having me on, man. This
Yeah,
is fun.
Oh, this
Appreciate-
was so much fun.
Yeah,
And we just like having our friends on because we're able to like actually be ourselves,
yeah,
you know, and
You're not trying to get to know somebody.
No,
but-
I just want to just talk with my friends. So
Yeah.
and this was so much fun. It was a great episode. So
Yeah,
thanks for
cool.
being on. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you. And that's going to wrap us up for today. We know we probably missed some, some songs out there, movie soundtracks. So if you're listening, mention them in the comments, some of your favorite ones. And we'll
Also, just because we're doing the Patreon, he's going to mention the Patreon one more time, but Drew and Few Show Patreon, this is how we're going to start doing these. If we can like get some cheese, we're going to actually start doing more live stuff. So if you like this live one, let us know in that as well, because, there's probably rough around the edges a little bit because we're getting used to it, but I thought it went all right for all things considering.
Yeah, well, time will tell when we end this recording and see how either good or bad it is. So Drew might be speaking too soon, but yeah, that's the goal with the Patreon, is to be able to fund essentially us to go to more things and knock out more recordings live,
Right.
and just be a little more organic with it. So
Love that.
yeah. All right. Till next time, we'll see you guys later.
Peace.
Peace.